Now, here's something that you talk about this in your book, and I'm like, okay, like, I was joking in the beginning. I think, men, if you do read this, it's good to read it to have an understanding how Sarah's talking to the ladies. But there's a lot in this book that we can get as men. And you said something in there, one of the biggest fears holding women back, but I want to say one of the biggest fears holding people back is fearing what other people think about you. And that's not just for ladies. You know, I'm gonna keep it a stat. Like, I that's my biggest fear to this day. Like, I got this platform, you have a platform. I'm like, okay, how do if I say this, what will they say? If I say this, am I on the news? If I do this wrong, man, everyone's talking about me. Or, like, I'm even fearful, Sarah, to be real, from a single person's perspective. I know people are attracted to the brand, but will they like the person, Anthony? Yeah. And it's like, how do we get through worrying about what others will say about us? How do we get through that fear?
Man, you've said so much here. As a person with a platform, I have found that the comments that sting the worst, the ones that hurt me the most, are the ones that echo an insecurity that already existed down on the inside of me. If someone comments on my page and tells me that 2 + 2 = 5, I don't care about that because I know it's not true. But when they start to tell me 2 + 2 = 4, or that you're just doing this for that reason, or you're this or you're that, it stings because there is a part of my fear and insecurity that thinks that they could be right. And then I have to do the work to work through that. So when it comes down to what people think, I think we have to dissect why it stings so much. We have to do some self-introspection and investigation. Why did that hurt so much when they said that? Yeah. If it's not true, is there a part of me that believes it? And as it relates to more intimate, personal relationships, we have to come to a place where we are willing to give people in those intimate relationships the authentic version of who we are. My husband tells this story about when he came to Dallas to visit me on our second date, that I took my makeup off when he was coming by my house because I don't go to bed with makeup on. So he was coming by to say goodnight and say that he was leaving town. And I took my makeup off and I answered the door without my makeup on. And he was like, you were always the realest to me because of that. But I'm like, listen, I don't have time for you to fall in love with a perversion of me that I will not be 24/7. Now, I'm going to put on these brows, I'm going to put on these eyelashes, and we're going to do what needs to be done. But 24/7, I'm basically going to be looking like this. So I was like, this is who I am up front.
Sarah, boy, Sarah. Hey, listen, all the brothers watching this show right now are going to be like, hey, Sarah Jake said on her second date, she took off the makeup. Can you take off your makeup, please?
Oh, Lord, don't get me in trouble with the sisters.
But, I mean, you did that, and you didn't really care about what you wanted him to see, the authentic self. And it's like, I'm pretty sure you cared about what he thought about, but it's like, hey, I want to give you the real up front. Whether you like it or not, let's have that combo.
Relationships are invasive. Yeah. And that's why a lot of us end up having emotional withdrawal. Yeah. We're in relationships, but we're not totally in them because they are so invasive. People want to know why you think the way you do, why you show up the way that you do. And you have to invite someone into this deep, sometimes childhood trauma version of who you are. So we don't even have time to pretend on the surface level, because if this continues moving in the direction that it could move, you're going to be all in my stuff, all in my issues and struggles. And so as much as we can keep it real, I think that that's better.
Sarah Jakes Roberts. Lord have mercy. This is why y'all need to be following this woman right here, because I follow her podcast. I listen to her show, and I'm gonna drop all her information in the show notes. So don't worry about that right now. But this is just, I think this is like out of 10. This is like 5.5 of Sarah. Now on her show, Sarah, she gonna keep it. She gonna listen. Get with.
Now that you watch the show, it makes me want to start acting right.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. When you get on somebody else's platform, I rock with you. I get it. But I'm telling y'all right now, go to her show. And if you like what you like here, you're going to be in love, because she is the definition of real, relevant, and relatable as a woman of God. You're not going to get no preacher who sounds like a preacher. You're going to get a preacher. You're going to get a woman, but she's just so real. Sarah, let's be real. You have some ladies right now who are fearful to opening up. You know, they've been cheated on by men. They've been lied to by men. They have some scars in the past. They're fearful of really just embracing something new. So when they feel that fear, what should they do to get beyond that?
Whenever you have been in a toxic relationship, especially if you've been in a series of toxic relationships, it is perfectly normal to come to a place where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to do it again at all. But that's not how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to live free and we're supposed to live open. And so instead of treating those relationships and situations as if I'm never going to do it again, we have to ask ourselves, how can I learn from this? Who was I when I engaged in this relationship? A lot of times we experience red flags or pink flags or orange flags, but we ignore them because we see so much potential in a person. Who was I? What was I in need of? Dissecting who we were in that moment is so important so that we never have to repeat that cycle again. The other thing I would say is we don't have to be desperate. We can be so fulfilled in our identity and who we are. I was a single mother. I'm married now. I have an incredible husband. He's absolutely changed my life. But before I met him, I was so in love with myself that like giving up my life to be with him was literally a sacrifice because I was so in love with who I am, but I knew that it was a God sacrifice and that God sacrifice always adds increase to you afterwards. But we got to get to a place where we're like, yo, I'm digging me so much that I don't know if I can even rock with you like that.
Is it wrong for me to think that, Sarah, me being single? Like, I'm so bad, I don't know if I can rock with you like that. Is it wrong? Is it selfish? Because I'm trying to tell you, but I'm like, I feel you. Sarah, man, listen. How did you come with everything Sarah had and still made Touré feel like the man? 'Cause I think that's the problem that men have is some ladies come in there saying, my name is Sarah Jakes, and you got to adapt to me. I'm not adapting to you. But that didn't happen with you two. And that's the problem that I have, is when a woman comes to me and says, I've built this, I have this goal, and you have to accomplish and deal with this, I don't feel a part.
Yeah.
So, what do we do?
That's fair, but I will tell you, one of the things my husband told me very early on in our courtship is that he felt like his purpose was to create an environment for me to flourish.
Wow.
He went into our relationship with the idea of, I want you to flourish because we are together.
Okay.
And that means that I also had to wrap my mind around the idea of receiving someone who felt like their role in my life was to make me bigger and better and the best version of myself. In exchange for that heart posture, I think one of the things we both have had to do is not be so impressed with our resume that we miss out on the opportunity for intimacy. Your resume does not matter in a relationship.
Talk.
Not your resume, not her resume. Because if you were that big and bad by yourself, then why do you need partnership? But at the end of the day, what we are talking about is partnership. I have a mutual respect for what you do in the earth, so you don't have to prove to me every time we're in a conversation or communication who you are. I already know who you are. I want to help you become more of who you are. And when both people carry that heart when they come into a relationship, then I think we see a lot less proving who we are and a lot more settling into who we are not, but who we could become if we join forces together.
Tell Touré, I owe him a tithe.
For real.
Tell
For
Touré,
real.
I'm going to send him a love offering. I love how he said it is his responsibility to create a place where you can flourish.